Is it good? Oh, it works. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Hey, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for all the supporters that came and those who were here for the online, the URL, those who are watching at home. In fact, it's surprising. I have people from other countries actually watching from, I think, would we say South Africa, and I have Japan and Korea, which is amazing. So I guess this is, a lot of people sitting comfortably in their homes, eating their bowls of cereal, watching all this fun over here. So thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. So the first thing and foremost I want to say, first I want to thank our sponsors because without them, a lot of this wouldn't happen. So first, the Association for Entrepreneurship USA, Bravo 748, Team RWB, the Veterans Advocate, Star 102.5, Biblical Counseling Services and Lighthouse Counseling Center, and of course, Wake Spine and Pain. So I wanted to say thank you so much. I appreciate y'all so vastly. Thank you for believing in this opportunity, and thank you for coming and supporting this, as well as the other vendors as well, Offered Outreach, of course, Flags to Remember, and I guess everyone else out the side, Monte de Leon Cigars, and Rolling Out Games. I wanted to say thank you for coming out to at least show up and support, and it's really great. And of course, our other team of helpers and everything else. So if I've forgotten everybody, please forgive me. I can't remember all the names. I can't even remember my own kids' names sometimes, so I apologize. So don't be upset. So thank you so much. Yes, thank them, yes. You gotta thank them. I don't have an applause meter or cue for applause, so just instinctively just go and clap, okay? Just go for it. I'm not gonna hold back. So the first thing we're gonna do is, of course, like every military event, we're gonna have the national anthem. So my father, Mr. Gordon Dozier, is going to sing the national anthem. And Dad, come on up. Slowly. I understand. You're doing great, Dad. Thanks, Dad. And if you all could stand if you can, and we'll go ahead and start singing the national anthem. Here you go, Dad.
All right, thank you. We're going to sing the national anthem, and then we're going to follow it with God Bless America, okay? So I need all your help, okay, because we need to fill this whole sound, okay? Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight and the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam, God bless America, my
Okay, I'm a little verklempt. Sorry about that. Dad, you always get me going there. Appreciate it. So I wanted to turn to our first speaker, Mr. Scott Dorney, who is with the North Carolina Military Business Center. Now, this is important because obviously we, as military members and people that want to do government contracting, this is a great opportunity. Mr. Dorney's here. Mr. Dorney is the executive director of the NCMBC, so he will be speaking on this. So why don't we learn a little bit about the NCMBC, and then Mr. Dorney will go ahead and speak.
The North Carolina Military Business Center is a business development entity of the North Carolina Community College System, headquartered at Fayetteville Technical Community College. The mission of the NCMBC is to leverage military and other federal business opportunities to expand the economy, grow jobs, and improve quality of life in North Carolina. The NCMBC's primary goal is to increase federal revenues for businesses in North Carolina. The NCMBC connects North Carolina firms to government contracting opportunities in two ways, with a team of business development specialists across the state who provide technical services, and electronically with matchforce.org.
The business development team identifies the most lucrative federal contract opportunities, both prime and subcontracts. We then notify and pre-position North Carolina firms for opportunities. We assist these firms to understand government solicitations, prepare winning proposals, and to successfully execute federal contracts.
The Department of Defense has an annual impact of $66 billion and is the second largest sector of North Carolina's economy, about 12% of our GDP. North Carolina is home to 6 major military bases, 116 National Guard and 40 Army Reserve facilities, and the third highest number of uniformed military personnel in the country. Due to this presence, the state of North Carolina created the NCMBC to leverage opportunities with these installations and with DoD commands worldwide.
The North Carolina Military Business Center's business development team also works with military installations in North Carolina and federal agencies across the country to build partnerships with the North Carolina business community for a mutual benefit, including the expansion of businesses to grow jobs.
In addition to the business development team, the NCMBC connects businesses with contract opportunities electronically through the use of matchforce.org.
The NCMBC administers the state's official free web portal, matchforce.org. Matchforce connects North Carolina businesses with all federal opportunities, including local opportunities at the bases in the state. Once a business registers, they will receive automatic matches to federal prime opportunities and to subcontracting opportunities posted by other registered businesses. Firms identifying contract opportunities through Matchforce can contact the NCMBC Business Development Team for one-on-one assistance.
In addition to business development and Matchforce, the NCMBC conducts several strategic initiatives. These initiatives include market intelligence, pre-positioning and training, current business development, solicitation and proposal support, training and resources, and events and networking.
The North Carolina Military Business Center also conducts employment programs to support the integration of the highly skilled, transitioning military personnel, family members, and veterans into the state workforce, and supports economic developers in recruiting defense-related businesses to North Carolina.
For full contact and more information on the North Carolina Military Business Center, visit www.ncmbc.us.
All right. Well, how about that, huh? Good morning. Good morning, everybody. My name is Scott Dorney, and I am the director of the North Carolina Military Business Center. And I want to thank the leaders and organizers of this event. And I really want to thank the sponsors, too. So, you know, we applaud like that. I'll tell you, we host a lot of events around the state every year, and this is not easy. So congratulations to your team on putting this together. It's amazing, and really sponsors make these things possible. But more important than even those, I want to thank each of you. And first of all, for your service. I was in the Army for 22 years, retired right here at Fort Bragg. Somebody told me when I was the defense attaché in Nicosia, Cyprus, she was from Fayetteville, she said, you know, you're going to get there, you're going to love it, you're going to retire. I said, look, I was there in the 70s, I was there in the 80s, I'm going back in the 90s. There is no way that I'm going to retire at Fort Bragg and stay there. But this is a great community. We actually have a farm up here north of Cameron, so we are local here as well. But I really want to thank you, not only for your service to our country, which is certainly number one, and a lot of you more recently than I have been, so I understand the hardships that you've gone through in your service, but also for starting your businesses and committing to grow your businesses. That's just amazing. Look, I've gotten a paycheck ever since I was 21 years old. Okay, I don't have the bravery or the whatever it takes to start I actually have my own business. Three Meadows LLC, and you know, our revenue from our business in the last 2 years has been exactly zero. So I have a lot of respect for what you do as entrepreneurs. And I don't want to give the impression that every business here is going to do defense contracting or federal contracting, but I just would like you to really think about it, okay? We've all been in the service, and I actually retired as the Deputy Garrison Commander at Fort Bragg. And look, I was a cannon cocker. I was a field artilleryman. I was in the Persian Gulf War as a battalion executive officer. And, you know, I was an artillery guy. So when I got to see the garrison side, how Fort Bragg, the city, actually runs, one thing I learned is that, look, our installations are just big cities. So when we talk about doing defense contracting, we're not really talking about planes, tanks, and submarines. So I go all over this state encouraging businesses. You ought to do business, think about doing business with the government. The federal government is the biggest customer in the world. And within the federal government, guess who's number one? It's the Department of Defense. They're big cities. Our installations buy everything. So it's not about tanks, planes, and submarines. It's about what every business in North Carolina does. And if you ask me, you know, I used to go around and I'd say, okay, this isn't for everybody. In fact, one of the first pitches I ever did was at Sand Hills Community College here, and I had a business come up and say, hey, I sell insurance. Do you think I could do this? And I said, well, you know, the government's self-insured, so I don't think so. About 3 weeks later, he called me up. He said, I'm on Match Force. I got this opportunity. The Department of Agriculture, somebody's going to Canada. They can't self-insure there. They want to buy insurance. I said, wow, that's pretty good. I learned something. And then I used to go around and I'd say, well, you know, it's probably for everything except maybe nail salons, hair salons. And then Fort Bragg Exchange, North Post Exchange started a day spa, and they put out a contract to run that. So now I just say, please take a look at this. You know, and it may not be guns, tanks, planes, submarines, but what you do, one way or another, whether it's through the exchange with fragrances or commissary with food products, or you might have a snack product that'd be great out on the golf course, at Ryder Golf Course, think about the federal market as one more place to engage your business and potentially grow your business. So I've got slides here. You're certainly going to have access to those. I've left some business cards at the back and some propaganda 3x5 kind of cards. Please pick those up. If you have any questions after this, please get a hold of me or any member of our team. So next slide. I'm going to try to stay out of the way of the slides, but I know we got plenty of screens. Normally, I like to walk and talk with you, but I know we have folks watching remotely, so I don't want to make it difficult on the team to share this information with folks around the world. So as you heard in the video, and I don't have to convince you, North Carolina is a military state. We have 6 major military installations, over 100,000 active duty people, the third highest number, by the way, of military people anywhere in the country. Anybody know who's first? That highly military-loving state of California is number 1, Texas, North Carolina. Now, some people say, well, what about Virginia? Well, if you count those DOD civilians, then Virginia gets ahead of us. But if you just count active duty people, North Carolina is actually the 3rd largest military state. 6 major military installations. What are they? Fort Bragg, Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, U.S. Coast Guard facility up at Elizabeth City, one of the largest Coast Guard bases in America, and 3 Marine installations, Camp Lejeune, New River, and Marine Corps Air Station Cherry Point. So this is a military state. When I have no problem explaining that to you, when I go to Burke County or Buncombe County out in the west, I always ask them, well, is there any military out here? No. Well, actually there are. There's military installations all across our state, Reserve, National Guard, and they all buy stuff, okay? So keep that in mind. Next. So what about contracting? Where does the government spend their money? So here's the message here. This is not an Eastern North Carolina phenomenon. Federal spending happens all across our state. In 2020 was a bad year in a lot of ways, right? 2020 was a great year for federal contracting in North Carolina. Anybody have any idea how federal prime contracts executed in our state? Now you say, okay, well that's like a $300 million construction contract. No, everything from that $300 million construction contract to a $3,000 contract to buy new carpet for my office at Fort Bragg. How much federal contracting do you think happens in North Carolina every year? Any guesses? 500 million? 9.5 billion in federal contracts are executed in North Carolina in 2020, which, by the way, was a $2.5 billion increase over 2019. So where does it happen? It happens all across the state. I know you can't see this in detail, but dark is good, okay? So if you're familiar with the map of North Carolina, clearly we have a lot of defense spending and federal spending in Cumberland County and Moore County and Onslow County, where Camp Lejeune is. But you can see in the Triangle, in the Wilmington area, in the Triad, even out in Buncombe County, out in the west, Asheville, not the most conservative place in America, okay, is big on defense contracting. In fact, I love going to Buncombe County and I ask them if they have any defense contracting. Oh, no, we don't do that here. Oh, yes, you do, okay? If you traveled out to Asheville on I-40, you go through Black Mountain, North Carolina. Just on your right is CureFOD Guidance and Navigation. They make the navigation system for every cruise missile in the U.S. military inventory, right in Black Mountain, North Carolina. Okay? Next slide. All right, a lot of words on this slide. It's about the Military Business Center and who we are. The Military Business Center is a business development and tech transition asset of our community college system, okay? So we are part of the community colleges. There's 58 community colleges in North Carolina, okay? We are part of the community college system. We're a system asset. Our state headquarters is in Fayetteville, but as you'll see, we have 15 offices across the state. We are totally state funded. Our job is to grow the defense economy in North Carolina. The state of North Carolina is committed to growing our defense economy. You might have heard in the video, the military is the second largest sector of our economy in North Carolina. You know what number 1 is? Anybody guess? Agriculture. Agriculture and food production. You know, we've done a lot in North Carolina advancing our economy, but agriculture, food's still number 1. It's about 80 billion, but we're going to catch them. The military's about $66 billion, okay? So our job is to help grow the defense economy. And you know, I've had the state of Georgia in my office already 3 times. They want to start a military business center. And I said, guys, why do you want a military business center? You are like number 12 in the country in defense contracting. In North Carolina, we're like number 20. You know, we want to be like you. They said, no, you don't, okay? Yeah, we're number 12. All that money goes to Lockheed Martin in Marietta, Georgia. It doesn't filter down to businesses in our state. So our job is to help businesses, large and small, do business with the federal government, including with the Department of Defense. And our services, you know, there's actually a lot of 4-letter words that we don't use, But the number one four-letter word that we don't use, well, number one is EASY. We never say that, okay? Because I don't want to give you the impression that doing business with the government is EASY. The other four-letter word that we don't use is FREE, okay? Because nothing is actually FREE. But our services to help you grow your business, they are fee-free. You don't pay us, but you do pay your taxes. That supports the community college system, supports the Military Business Center. So we are here for you, and you will not pay for our services to help you grow your business. Next. So what's our mission? You know, look, we're all in the military. Our mission is to leverage military and federal business opportunities to grow the economy, expand businesses, help you. We don't hire people, you do. Help you expand your business, help you grow jobs, help you raise the tax base so that the state can provide better services to everybody in North Carolina and improve quality of life in our state. So ultimately, we are to grow the economy, to raise the tax base, and improve quality of life in North Carolina. They gave us 3 goals, the General Assembly did in 2004. Help businesses win more government contracts, number 1. Number 2, help recruit more defense contractors to North Carolina, because if we're going to grow the economy, we got to do it 2 ways. We got to get more businesses to come to North Carolina. So where's my fragrance lady from Miami? We need you in North Carolina, okay? We want you to grow your business here, okay? And number 3, help transitioning military like us to get jobs in North Carolina, because we see the transitioning military population, and by the way, about 18,000 people get out of the military every year in North Carolina. We see the transitioning military population as the number 1 engine to grow businesses in our state, okay? I can't tell you, every day we have employers call us, I want to hire veterans. Well, why do you hire veterans? Well, they're motivated, they're disciplined, they're drug-free, they can pass a background check. You know, when I got out of the Army, I actually was the HR director for the city of Fayetteville. And I learned that other than maybe the city engineer position, we could train people to do anything. What we needed, people who were disciplined, motivated, and when you told them to come to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, they thought they were on vacation because we didn't do PT at 6 o'clock, okay? So that's our job, is to help keep those people here in North Carolina to grow our businesses. We also do tech transition. So some of you might be developing some new technologies, and I saw a gaming company out here, so think about that. Training in the military is not like it was when I was in the military, okay? I remember being a forward observer stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and we actually adjusted artillery fire, or trained to do it, in a classroom by throwing cotton balls out onto a table. Believe it or not, okay? It's come a long way since then. So companies that are developing new technologies, we want to help them introduce those to DOD. Because y'all are veterans, and I don't know if you were at decision-making levels or not, but we all know the military sort of has that philosophy, if we didn't think of it, we don't need it, right? Well, they do need it, because the pace of technology now is much faster in the commercial market. You can go in this van out here and look at this mobile video games that they're having there is far more advanced than probably a lot of training systems in the military. So we help those companies get those new technologies into DOD. The bottom line is it works. We've been doing this since 2005. And, you know, I go to the General Assembly almost every year, and I love this. They always ask me, how many contracts did you win this year? Meaning, how much corporate income tax did you get people to pay, okay? So I always tell them the same thing. We didn't win any contracts. It's not our job. We are technical assistants. Our staff across the state helps you win contracts, your company get more revenue, your company grow jobs and grow our tax base and improve quality of life in North Carolina. But we have been able to help businesses in our state win over 3,800 contracts worth $15 billion. And those weren't all $100 million contracts. These are $3,000 contracts, $5,000 contracts, okay? Next slide. Okay, so how do we operate? We have a business development team. When I say we have 15 offices across the state, those are our business developers. So we got a little more money from the state about 2 years ago because at that time, our farthest west office was in Charlotte. Now, I don't know if you've driven across the state of North Carolina, but there is a lot of North Carolina on the other side of Charlotte, okay? I remember one day I had to do a presentation in Hickory, which is not that far west, and then I had to be in Elizabeth City the next morning. I thought, okay, no problem, I'll drive that. I left at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't get there till almost 10 o'clock at night. This is a big state, okay? So we have offices now all across the state. So wherever you are in North Carolina, we have somebody to sit down with you, help you navigate this market, help you get registered, help you get certified as a government contractor, all of which is free. And by the way, if you go on the internet, there's plenty of consultants, and I love consultants, don't get me wrong, okay, who are ready to help you do that for a fee. But you can do it for free, and we can help you register, get certified, so you can take advantage of the small business programs that you qualify for. And by the way, so there are small business programs, and I might be getting ahead of myself, I can't remember the slide, okay? There are programs in federal government that actually are designed to help small businesses win contracts. 23% of all federal contracts must go to small businesses. Well, the cynic in me says, well, that means 77% don't have to. Yeah, you know what? 23% of a really big pie means a whole lot of money, okay? So right here in North Carolina, I just looked at these statistics because I talked to the North Carolina Veteran Business Association the other day. Remember, $9.5 billion of contracts were executed in North Carolina last year. $1 billion was with veteran-owned businesses. Veteran-owned businesses and service-disabled veteran-owned businesses win about $1 billion worth of contracts in North Carolina every year. So they're no stronger, no better than the business that you operate. Next. Okay, I mentioned the offices across the state. That's where they are. So we will have a quiz at the end, so you have to know all these counties and where those stars are. But no, don't worry. The message here is we've got this state pretty well covered. If you want to come in and talk to somebody that can help you do this contracting, we have an office pretty close to you. Next. Okay, so in the film, so I'm old, film, right? It's we don't even do film anymore. It's all digital, okay? We talked about Match Force. So you saw all those stars on the map. The way that works is they're not just there to provide counseling. Those business developers are monitoring federal contracts every day, okay? So there is a national repository of contracts. You know, when I started in the military, although I didn't do contracting, I was a cannon cocker, okay? They had to be advertised in a newspaper. Well, we don't do that anymore. Now the federal government posts all their contracts to a place called sam.gov, the System for Award Management.gov. That's how they publicly advertise contracts. Our business developers that are all across the state are monitoring those contracts every day. Somebody monitors the VA, somebody monitors the Defense Logistics Agency Aviation, somebody else monitors DLA Subsistence, DLA Energy, people who buy stuff in North Carolina, okay? We monitor industries. No matter who the government buyer is, we know we want to catch every textile opportunity. We want to catch every food opportunity. We want to catch every construction opportunity, particularly if it's going to be done in North Carolina. But if we doubled the number of people that we have, and by the way, I'd be happy to do that if they gave us the money, okay? If we could double the number of stars on that map, we could not see every federal contract every day because there's thousands of them, okay? So we try to monitor the most lucrative ones with our people, but we knew we had to use technology to be able to see every contract and match them up to businesses in our state. We couldn't find a system like that, so we built one. It's called matchforce.org, okay? Now, I have no personal experience with this, but everybody tells me that Matchforce is a dating service for federal contracts, okay? Think about this. You create a profile in Matchforce, and you'll see it in a second. And we have over 23,000 businesses in North Carolina. I'm sorry, you have to have a North Carolina address. Did you notice I didn't say you have to be in North Carolina? You have to have a North Carolina address to register on Matchforce, and it will match your business automatically every day to federal contracts, large and small, okay? At 2 o'clock in the morning, it goes out to sam.gov, brings in all the new contracts, looks at all of the business profiles, matches them up, and it's going to send you one email in the morning, not 5 emails, not 10, just one, saying there is a federal contract or 2 or 3 that matches your business, okay? So we have 23,000 people in it, and at least $5.5 billion, is that what it says? $5.5 billion of contracts have been awarded to businesses who were matched to those contracts by Matchforce. For FREE, okay? Create a free profile. It's easy. It'll take you about 10 minutes. We can help you do it if you need it, and it'll start matching you to these contracts. And believe me, I mean, I've been looking at these for a long time, and I think nothing is going to surprise me. You would not believe the contracts that we see. I mean, it's for everything, okay? And when I think, oh, no, they couldn't possibly buy this, I'll see a contract for it, okay? Next slide. That's what Matchforce looks like. All you have to do is go to that green box. It says, I think it's the one that says businesses. No, in the middle, the blue box. Just go there, click free, register, and create a Matchforce profile, okay? And by the way, notice we have a C-130 because we got to have a service presence for everybody, so we have the Air Force. You know we don't have any C-130s in North Carolina anymore? I had Pope Air Force Base. That's a real shame, but anyway, that's another whole topic. Next slide. Okay, so, and by the way, I mentioned that you'll get one email in the morning, and this is what it looks like. It actually looks better than that now, okay? You'll get one email that says you've been matched to one or more contracts, and when you click on view, it doesn't take you to Matchforce, so we can count the number of clicks or whatever it is for people. We don't care about that. When you click on view, it's going to take you right to the contract opportunity. If you like it and you want to bid, call us and we'll help you, okay? There's also at the bottom of it, there's a tip of the month video and about Matchforce. And my picture's on one of them, and then our Matchforce manager's picture is on the other one. Nobody ever clicks on my picture. I don't know why, but we try. Next slide. Okay, I mentioned transition tech. We're not going to get a lot into this, but if your company is developing some new technologies, our Defense Technology Transition Office can help you figure out who in DOD or Homeland Security or some other federal agency is going to buy what your business does. Next. Next slide, there we go. All right, that's our website. Everybody has to show you their website, right? But really, there are some important points on here. I know it's a little hard to read, but I think it looks like about the third item up on the navigation bar is resources. If all of this seems overwhelming, go to the resource tab, and there's a tab on there that says getting started, okay? And it's a checklist. Of course, in the military, we have to have checklists, right? Checklist for everything. And do not worry when you look at this checklist. It's like 5 pages long. But a lot of it won't apply to you, okay? I do not have a woman-owned business, okay? I have a veteran-owned business, but I don't have a woman-owned business. So I skipped that part of the checklist. It will walk you through the process of getting a DUNS number, getting a cage number, registering on sam.gov, get registered on Matchforce, know what your NAICS codes. It might seem overwhelming. It's not that hard, and it's all what? F-R-E-E, right? You don't have to pay somebody to help you do it. Next slide. So this is about the checklist, but also what do you need to do, okay, to get started in this market? First of all, get that getting started checklist. It's going to make the whole process a lot easier. And like on page 5, and I've been trying to revise this for years, is sign up on matchforce.org. Oh, by the way, matchforce.org is like a dating service. Do not go to matchforce.com because that is a dating service, okay? In fact, we work with a company in Fayetteville called AIT to develop Matchforce, and their developers, now you're thinking 2003, 2004, spent a lot of time on dating services to figure out all those algorithms and how they work when they develop Matchforce. I'm glad I didn't have to go home and explain why I was hanging out on it was matchforce.com, and then it became match.com, okay? So matchforce.what? Org. Make sure you stay on the org. So, but anyway, it's like on page 5 of the checklist. If I were you, I would sign up on matchforce.org today. Why? Even though you're not in SAM yet, you're not a, when you register in SAM.gov, you are a government contractor. Congratulations. I am, and you know how much revenue I've made? None. I haven't competed for a government contract personally with my company, Three Meadows LLC, but I've done it with plenty of other companies, okay? So that is FREE to get registered, but I would recommend you get on matchforce.org as soon as possible because the one contract opportunity that fits your business might come out today, okay? So don't miss opportunities. Get registered on Matchforce. You got to learn all these other things, how to describe your business, get a DUNS number, know your NAICS codes, your federal supply categories, all that sort of thing. You do have to register in SAM.gov. You may have the perfect business. You may see a contract on Matchforce. You can put in a proposal, which, by the way, some is as easy as putting in a quote. The same kind of quote you provide to a commercial customer, you're going to provide a quote to the government, and they're going to want to buy it from you. The first thing they're going to do is look you up on SAM.gov. If you're not in SAM.gov, they cannot award you a contract, okay? So do that registration in SAM.gov. Don't start it at 11:45 and try to go to lunch, okay, because they're going to ask you for your banking information and all those other things. And you know what? I love it when businesses say, well, I don't want to give them my banking information because then the government's going to know about me. Guess what? They know about you already. Might as well give them your banking information. And by the way, that's how they're going to pay you, okay? You don't another myth is the government's too slow to pay. I don't have time. No, everything's done electronically. You're going to submit an electronic invoice when you do the work. You're going to get paid electronically. So registering in SAM is very important so they can send you a check, okay? Very important. Checklist is on ncmbc.us. Next slide. All right, that's what the checklist looks like. I don't even know why I bother because it's only like the top third of the first page. But anyway, there is a checklist. When you see this, follow the checklist, you'll be good to go. Next slide. All right, we do a lot of events, so I know what y'all are up against organizing these events. Some are small, some are big, some are online, some are physical events. We we got a textile summit coming up next month. If you do anything in clothing, apparel, by the way, they buy all that kind of stuff. I had the Navy contact me last month saying, we want neck gaiters, pull up over your face. For shipboard, on aircraft carriers, okay? And they had all these specifications, of course, but neck gaiters. A lot of people sell neck gaiters, okay? So we have a textile summit coming up. If you're in this area, on the 4th of August, we'll have our defense trade show. We have businesses come in. You can even apply to get a booth that costs how much? FREE, okay? Get a free booth, display your products or services to the military. We're going to have a cybersecurity forum. And you can see we do a medical event. We do a construction event. That construction event is huge. And you might say, hey, my dirt pushing company isn't ready to be a federal contractor. We know that. I was at Camp Lejeune yesterday for the groundbreaking for $1.7 billion in new construction at Camp Lejeune, okay? 7 packages, about 30 different buildings, got all destroyed during Hurricane Florence. Those prime contractors are all general contractors. Guess how much work they do? About 0, okay? They use subcontractors for everything. And they all have small business utilization goals. So if you do anything in the construction, infrastructure, networking, IT, there's a lot of opportunity, and I recommend you come to that construction summit that we have. There's about 900 contractors come to that in Wilmington every October. All right, next slide. And, hey, contact information. So you see me at the top, Mark Mills in the middle. He runs our business development team all across the state. I keep telling him it looks like a mugshot, okay? But Mark's a great guy, okay? He's actually out at Catawba Valley in our Hickory campus, but he runs our team. You know, I showed you a bunch of stars. Those people are amazing. You know, my job as the state director is to hire people smarter than me. Now, in my case, that's pretty easy, okay, because most people are, but those people that are in those offices have either worked for the government for 25, 30 years as contracting officers. They've read proposals and quotes of all kinds from all kinds of businesses. They could tell you whether your proposal looks good or it's a piece of junk, okay? And by the way, we see some really good ones, but we see some bad ones too, okay? Here's a clue. If you're bidding on contract A, do not use the same proposal that you used on contract B and just try to change a few words. It doesn't work. They can see through that, okay? So we have former government contracting officers. We have people who have sat where you are, who've been writing proposals, writing quotes for 20, 25, 30 years. And let me tell you something. None of us are getting RICH working for the community college system, okay? But these people are committed to helping businesses, to helping veterans, to helping small businesses do business with the federal government. They've all been there, either on the government side or on the business side. We've got a lot of expertise that can help you out, okay? I think that's it. Next slide, or might have a question slide. Does anybody have any questions for me? Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. All right. Well, listen, thank you. Okay. Really appreciate your doing this. Thanks for the time. Thank you for being here. All right, man. Good to see you.
My brother. Thank you so much. I was blown away. I have to say, that was amazing. Thank you, Mr. Dorney. So interesting thing he mentioned talking about businesses and contracting and such. Businesses obviously start with an idea. So I kind of want to go into the next speaker, but I have a pre-story here because it's kind of funny. So I had an idea. It's one of the crazy ideas, and Chad, of course, is the recipient of probably a bulk of my ideas. Poor Chad. And I am a terrible text messenger. I'm just going to say that outright. My wife could probably attest to that. So I always, instead of putting the whole message, and I'm sure many of the audience have experienced my text messaging, I have breaks in thoughts. Like I'll have a line and then a line and a line. So the idea behind this came up about 3 months ago. And in business, generally you have an idea, right? It's passion. You have that desire to do a change, right? You know, my kids love this movie called Robots, and it's sort of like see a need, fill a need is the theme of you know your dad when you're quoting cartoon movies. But anyway, the point is, you know, you got see a need, fill the need. So anyway, point is that I'm sitting here and I'm just sitting in bed, and all of a sudden, just like, I don't know why, but I just had this idea. And of course, the first person, unfortunately, was Chad. So I sent Chad a messenger. I didn't want to send him a text. I sent him a messenger. I said, Chad, I got a great idea. I'm going to put on an entrepreneur thing, and it's going to be called V.E.T.S. And of course, I didn't expect Chad to be awake because probably Chad is like me. He's always working in his mind and everything else. So Chad's like, thumbs up in Chad style, okay? And then I'm like, oh, he's awake. Okay, so let me go on. Unfortunately, I probably shouldn't have. But I was like, hey, I got this great idea. And Chad, it's going to be called the Veterans Entrepreneurship Training Seminar or something like that. And Chad's like, okay, cool. And he's like, dude, go to bed. And I said, okay, all right, I'm gonna go to bed now. Of course, I didn't go to bed. I just spent all morning thinking about pining away about how to create this thing. So, but the thing about business, and I would tell you quick as a business owner myself, business is about idea and passion. There is no doubt, idea and passion. And the passion will only get you so far. The other part is, in my opinion, especially, is passion, then building a business plan, and then collaborating. That's a key element. And collaboration, of course, is why I'm actually standing on this stage. And of course, the passion is there, but the collaboration was also very important. Of course, Chad was instrumental in helping, and so was Stacy and Jamie and everybody else that came apart, and I appreciate all this, and Ms. Kelly as well. And so I just want to let you know that it's important to have that idea, but you also have to keep that passion, because you're going to come up and you're going to see that idea, and sometimes that idea is not going to be as amazing as it is, so you have to adjust fire, and, you know, of course, we'll talk about PACE plan later, but at the end you make your alternate plans. But anyway, the next speaker, of course, is Chad from Kraken Skulls, and let's learn a little bit about the Kraken Skulls brand.
Hey man, you Esteban?
Yeah, I am. I'm Esteban. Welcome to Kraken Skulls Barbershop. How can I help you?
Normally I don't do things like this, but my normal barber I've seen for a while, just can't seem to get a hold of him, and he's just been really busy doing other things, and so, but I just gotta get a haircut, man.
All right, got you strapped in here.
Yeah, my buddy's got a plastic bag he uses, and I guess it works.
So, how can I take care of you today?
Yeah, clean me up, you know, not looking like wild man, you know, just wanna, you know, make me look good.
Okay, say no more. I'll take care of you. Quality cut with a great price. Oh, welcome to the family.
I gotta do it.
Yeah, hello?
Hey bro, it's me.
Chill.
You have a minute to talk?
What you want?
I really needed to get this off my chest and tell you that I found someone else.
What do you mean?
I found another barber.
Hold on, give me a second. What are you talking about? I'm the best barber there is.
Hey man, I always remember the good times we had, but this guy, he just gets me. He listens to me. I look great. I smell amazing. He even has hot towels. Hot towels, bro.
What do you mean, a hot towel? I got a hot towel. Hey, what's so special about a hot towel? Yeah, fucking hot towel. All right, so that was one of our commercials, and I didn't even know that was going to be up there, to be honest with you. So, real quick, I'm going to tell you about Kraken Skulls, but I'm going to tell you about Kraken Skulls through a video that I coordinated appropriately with the editor over there. So if you could spin that one, I would really appreciate it. Hey, my name's Chad. I'm the owner of Kraken Skulls. Wherever you see this logo, it represents our company. So here at the compound of Kraken Skulls in Fayetteville, North Carolina, I created a one-stop shop for all things really personal care, not necessarily man care. So as you walk in to my compound here, you'll have a tattoo shop. You have my retail set up. Within this building, I'll have a laboratory back in the back, as well as my t-shirt printing for all my screen prints, as well as an embroidery shop. That's one half of my business, right? But the other half of my business is really where it comes in, and it comes really cool. So as you walk in, you'll be greeted by one of my employees, and they're gonna say, plain and simple, welcome to Cracking Skulls. How can I help you today? It could be, hey, I have a barber appointment or a beard appointment or a mani or a pedi or whatever the case is. I mean, let's say none of those really wet your whistle, all right? Well, you can go right back to the bar and have your favorite beverage that's very well priced, number one. You can smoke one of my cigars or even drink my Cracking Skulls beer. So it's a one-stop shop, really. I originally said it as man care, but it's just personal care. That's really what Cracking Skulls is all about. Additionally, inside here, I do have an arcade for you to have a good time, back patio where you can smoke my cigars and drink my beer and enjoy life.
Thank you, I appreciate it. My name is Chad. I own Cracking Skulls. I know I started out like I was in an AA meeting for a second. Hey, I'm Chad, and I got an alcohol problem. I'm really here to talk to you guys today to really give you some guidance, and this is really not so much for everybody in here, but business is at different steps for everybody, you know? So I ain't gotta hold this because I'm a hand talker. So I did 20 years in the military. My first 7 years was in the infantry as 11 Bravo, and then after that, I decided I wanted to become a Green Beret because they were cool. So I became an 18 series guy and finished out my career as the E8 and 3rd Special Forces Group. So Cracking Skulls, it's just one small portion of what I do. But I wanted to talk to everybody about really what comes and what really goes into starting a business. It's more than just, having a cool logo or thinking you have a cool idea. And I really just wanted to be able to spread some of that knowledge today with everybody in attendance and all the people watching live online right now. I wasn't going to do any notes, but as this young man was up here speaking about his stuff, I was like, man, I should have had notes. He had a cool PowerPoint presentation, and I was just going to kind of take it from the hip because that's what we do anyways, right? It's like Thursday days training, right? Hip pocket training. I wanted to just kind of spread some knowledge with you guys, right? So I broke down a couple things that I feel were true capstones in the creation of my business, Cracking Skulls, and kind of just give some knowledge there and kind of show what exactly it takes to become a business owner. Everybody wants to be a business owner and a boss until you're a boss, and then you hate being a boss. You don't want to do it anymore, I swear to you. I promise. Employees are a pain in the rear. And that's one thing I wanted to tap on is your employees and your team. All right, before we even get into the concept of having a business. I was speaking out in the hallway just a minute ago before we started, and it was one of my talking points anyways. Loyalty. All right, it's one thing that you cannot buy. It's 100% free if you just open your ears and listen to what your employees are looking for and what they're doing, all right? But you cannot buy loyalty, man, and you're gonna fail. Your business will fail if you don't have solid employees. I swear it will. So as you are building your business up, start looking for the right people in the right places to fulfill the right requirements for your business success, all right? All right, so as I was retiring from the military after 20 years and 7 days and 2 hours and 5 minutes, all right? Nobody was counting though. I was like, all right, I need to start a business now because I didn't want to go be a contractor like all my friends were doing, Like, oh, cool, yeah, I'm a Green Beret, I'm gonna go down range and do all the same stuff I was doing for 20 years. Like, I'm over it, man. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt kind of thing, So I wanted to, number one, start my own business. I said, man, how do I make a cool business that is a one-stop shop for everybody to come to and enjoy life a little bit, as you guys seen in my video. So I was like, all right, cool. I got an idea. This is what I want to do. I want to make a compound or a business or a long-standing building that provides multiple services. So I kind of, got my old whiteboard out and said, hey, all right, what's some things that Fayetteville sucks for? I did, I was like, man, barbershops, all right. Okay, cool, there's a whole bunch of barbershops. There's a barbershop in every corner, on every street, Riley Road, Yadkin Road, there's a barbershop everywhere. But it was boom, boom, gone. Like you're just a number or a person, and you don't matter. Or you have to sit in line for the expensive barbershops for like $50 a damn haircut. And at the time I was like, yeah, that ain't gonna fly, man. We need to make this affordable and have people have a place to go to. So the Crackin' Skulls Barbershop came about. And it just fits the name anyways, right? Crackin' Skulls, haircut kind of thing, yeah. Anyways, all right. So I was like, all right, there's one thing. All right, next one. Guys. All right, we're really bad at taking care of ourselves anyways, I swear. All of us guys in here know we suck at taking care of ourselves. You'd be lucky if you get 3 showers a week, and we're cool with that, So I was like, all right, what's my goal here? I want dudes to feel good about themselves. I want them to get lucky, you know what I mean? So, all right, manicures and pedicures. How do we make this manly? Well, there's really no way to make manicures manly, I swear to you. Even though the man is in the dang word, there's no way to make it manly at all. So I was like, all right, well, maybe if it's at a cool place, then it's all of a sudden becomes manly. And, well, it is. So now we have manicures and pedicures going on at the compound. Like, all right, cool. All right, so we got one little portion done. Like, all right, what's everybody else like to do? Drink alcohol. Yeah, let's drink some booze, So I can't just serve everybody else's beer. I want my own beer. All right, cool. Well, what do I need to do to make my own beer? Found another brand new veteran-owned company that was starting up, and he's like jumping up and down, sticking his hand up like, pick me, pick me. I was like, yeah, what's up, man? He's like, dude, I'll make your beer for you. I was like, so veteran? Let's do it. So next thing you know, the Crackin' Skulls beer came out. So Heckler Beer, located on Ramsey Street, is my brewer, and he is now making all of my beers. We have 5 different flavors. They're all pretty awesome, and I gave them some manly names, because some of them were a little bit on the girly hue of color and taste, but they're all delicious, I promise you. The one that we have right now is called Strawberry Dagger. It's kind of like Strawberry Daiquiri, but daiquiri is not cool, But Strawberry Dagger is really cool, right? All 8% alcohol by volume. They taste amazing. You could drink 4 or 5 of them, and you had a good day, go home. I swear it. So all those who have tried my Strawberry Dagger can attest to it. It's pretty yummy. All right, and then I was thinking, all right, we got a place where you can come in, get a haircut. All right, manis, pedis, all right, cool. But the real issue is I was trying to create something that fulfilled my requirement as a man, not as a business or anything like that. I identified that what I was doing was actually my way to deal with the stuff I was going through in life. It was I'm kind of a leader again. I'm a first sergeant again. I was able to create one location, and I had like little platoon sergeants everywhere in charge of each thing. And it was just the way I was able to cope with some PTSD and stuff, So when I was building this entire place, it's really just a snapshot of my mind. And every time I see someone walk in, it puts a smile on my face because they're walking through my mind, It's really pretty awesome. And then I had a buddy come in. He's like, hey, man, I just want to tell you thanks, bro. I was like, for what? He's like, you don't realize what you did here yet, have you? I'm like, I'm just, trying to make a business. It's like, no, bro, I have a place where I could walk in, talk to people who are like me, like for real like me, not like fake like me, but like exactly like me. You could drop some F-bombs, some curse words, and no one's going to frown at you, I was like, well, you could do that in any bar, bro. He's like, no, it's different. Here, I know who you are, you know who I am, you know my name, and you tell everybody welcome to the family for a reason, because it's a big family. That's what I was creating. I was creating a family. It was something that I had as a void in my life, growing up in the foster care system and living the life that I grew up as. I was missing family, so I created my own family. That's what I did. And how that ties into talking about business preparation, all right? So from the big picture, you need to identify a change or something that you feel that needs to be changed or something that you feel you could have a positive impact or positive effect on the community, because we make our own city, you know? Everyone could say Vietnam, Fayette this, and you know, everyone has a lot of bad words to say about this place, but honestly, it's you and me who make the city. So if we take a step in the right direction and try to change something that should be changed, well, it's your responsibility, you know? All I did was create one business, and I was able to hire 17 employees off of that, you know, which is cool. And that's my measure of success. All right, so we're going to segue into, all right, so we identified our business prep. All right, identify the problem. Fix the problem, find the solution, execute. Cool. Very militaristic. Everything, my company, I swear, I run it just like a regular military unit, I swear. I think it's because the only thing I really know. But you got your employees. Okay, cool. You got your end state. All right, well, what's next? Well, it costs money. It costs money to run a business, and you're like, oh my God. Well, luckily I had a retirement check coming in, you know, plus 100% disability. So I was like, all right, that's gonna fund my business. Well, at that time, I wasn't really looking into other programs that were out there for veterans, and there are a lot. The problem is I didn't know about them, and I was just kind of nugging through it the entire time. And everyone wants to say, oh, we'll help, we'll help, we'll help. Well, Google machine only goes so far. You know, you can hop on Google and type in, veteran company, how do I start a veteran company? Well, there's a lot more into it. Luckily, at this point, I have launched 9 different companies other than mine at the Crack and Skulls compound. Because on the 3rd floor, well, we have our media company, which is covering all this stuff that you see right here in front of you. Website design, and we could get all of your business licenses done. I clicked the easy button, all right? I just made a one-stop shop. Literally, you come in like, I want to start a business. How do I do it? Hey, come on over to the compound, bro. I got you. You don't need to go through all the struggles and the drama that I had to go through. You really don't. You just show up and be like, all right, this is what I need. I don't have a logo. No problem. I got a graphic designer for that. All right, well, cool. I need swag and shirts. No problem. I got a print shop for that. All right, well, damn, what the hell else do you do? Oh, well, what else do you need? And I wanted to fulfill the requirement that each new business owner hurdle that they're going to encounter. I want to just kind of lower the hurdle, you know? I can't jump over a hurdle like they do in high school. I mean, if I wanted to right now, but if you lower that thing to a foot off the ground, I'll step over it, you know? So, starting up, feel free to reach out to me. And I'm right here in Fayetteville. I'm not hard to find. If anybody wants to fight me, you know where to find me. I'm there every day from sun up to sundown. So if you need any answers for, you know, startup funds, how to get money, how to navigate, you know, the required paths that you need to go through, you know, you don't need to grab a machete and chop through the woods anymore, man. Just put gas in the car and go down the road, you know. I'm just helping pave the road for you. But yeah, there are plenty of bank loans out there, SBAs. There are a whole bunch of different avenues that you could truly go through, and I can help you with all that stuff. So if you're hitting a brick wall or hitting a hurdle that you can't jump over, you know, reach out to me. I'm really easy to get a hold of, and I'll be more than glad to help you out. All right, mentors. All right, this is going to segue into my next one, mentors. All right, so a lot like most of you in this room probably didn't have that one person or didn't have a person to go to, like, hey, what do I do now? Or what's next, or whatever the case is. So I'm offering my services as a mentor. And, you know, in the officer world, they call it riding someone's coattail. You know, I'm holding the coattail out there. If you need help with launching your business, like, reach out to me, man. I've already been through it. You don't need to go through all the hard stuff that I went through, I swear it. Moving on to network. All right. So there's a lot of sayings out there about network, and one that sticks in my mind is your network defines your net worth. All right? And what that means is the only way you could be successful is if not only are you having one hand out for some assistance, but you're offering the other hand out to help somebody else, all right? It's kind of like a lead climb, you know, if you're climbing a mountain. You know, just because you're a stud and you're getting up there and you can climb up all the walls fast and hook in and lower a rope to the next guy doesn't mean you need to take every single, you know, path. That you don't need to be the pathfinder and everything, all right? Sometimes for networking, it's just some of these people in this room, you will find the person that can help you move to the next step so you can not be tired by climbing to the next peak, right? If that makes any sense. And I'm sorry I keep using, you know, these analogies that are militaristic in nature, but once again, it's kind of what I know and it's kind of how I'm able to communicate. So, measures of success. All right. So in business, expectation management. Oh man. You're going to learn expectation management is everything. You know, you could want the world to be done in a week, but, you know, it's not possible. You have to set attainable goals, execute what is required to reach that goal before you get to that next step, all right? And I say that because when I was starting, you know, Cracking Skulls, I was like, oh, we're going to be up and operational in no time. Well, my Lord, whew. Problem is, you have to wait for other people to do things that you can't do. You have to wait for a city inspector to come by and inspect for your plumbing or for your electrical or your next step. And then they're on COVID break. And then you're like, ooh, Murphy, you are really in my stuff right now, man. Get away from me, you know. You kick Murphy in the face sometimes, you know. But while I'm saying that is managing your expectations and setting obtainable goals in a properly executed timeline is going to set you up for success for your mental status, and aside from everything else, because you'll be sitting there, you know, midnight, like I had been, at the compound, still working, doing all this stuff. And it's not because I don't hire enough people. I hire plenty enough people. I just didn't feel comfortable with like releasing certain things that I was already what I thought was proficient at. So the ability to hand off or delegate tasks that can easily be accomplished by somebody else was another lesson that I had to learn the hard way, you know? I wanted to do everything myself. Like, nah, I got this, you know? It's a no fail. I got to do it. I got to do it. Well, you're going to fail if you do it all. That's the honest truth. And it's hard for us to understand, like, oh, no, why should I pay somebody to do what I can do? Well, because you can't make more time, bro. It's one thing you can't make more property, land value, or time. It's just, those are degradable scenarios, and you have to deal with them. You have to hire the right people or appoint the right people or delegate the right tasks to the right person to accomplish it in a timely manner. And man, that's lessons learned right there, bro. I'm telling you. Yeah. So actually, it's really cool. So there was a kind of a staple in my proof of concept in my business happened just yesterday, and that person actually happens to be in this room right now, which is really cool. So I had my first ever somebody come in, get a beer, get a haircut, a beard trim, followed by a manicure, followed by a pedicure, followed by a tattoo. And he's over there. Yeah. No, so that was my first time ever that happened. And that was like, oh my God, it worked. Like, he got to come in, drink my beer, get a tattoo here, get his haircut, his beard trim, bro, and enjoy life. And he didn't leave till like 1 in the morning this morning, I swear. He was getting his entire sleeve done. So you know, it was really cool just to see that. And I wanted to kind of to blend over to that and say, identifying obtainable points and measures of success, that is a perfect example of a measure of success for me, because it validated what I wanted to do. I wanted to create that kind of place. And, bro, he enjoyed himself. You know, he was able to walk out with a howler full of, you know, cracking beer. Oh, you forgot it? Oh, you finished it. But it was really cool for me, and I get to walk around and kind of see everybody's successes, and I get to employ, you know, barbers and stylists for ladies' hair, and they're just in there and they're smiling and they're happy, and I'm like, man, this is my counseling for myself. This is how this is what I needed. This is what I was looking for. And then all those people get to create their livelihood just because of one thing that I did. And all of you who start your businesses can do the same thing. So that's what I wanted to really come up here and talk about today. I wanted to kind of give some of my information. I have stories on stories on stories of things that I messed up. And, I'm not afraid to share them because that's how you get better the next day, I've had people in my family from cracking skulls, have falling outs, I've had good friends on both sides where I'm like, everything is perfect. And then, one thing leads to another, and all of a sudden it's a fallout. And you're just like kind of stuck in the middle, like, oh man, this isn't what I wanted. I wanted everybody to be happy all the time. Well, you can't please everybody. You cannot. You will have, amongst the ranks, whether they're employees or your friends or customers, you cannot chase satisfying everybody because you'll just chase your tail the entire time. So set up a good end state, identify a good plan of action, execute it well, be positive the entire time, and have people to talk to and reach out to if you're having crap days, because not every day is rainbows and unicorn body parts. But that being said, that's all I got, y'all. And welcome to the family, y'all.
Chad. I love that. You gotta love a guy like that. But yeah, so Chad, thank you so much. It was great. Dan, we're gonna put a little Frago on this real quick. So I thought a good idea was to take about a 20-minute break. One, to absorb all of that knowledge that was just dropped, that little Moab of knowledge that was just dropped right now by Chad and Mr. Dorney. So I just wanted to take a 20-minute break so we can kind of stretch our legs, get the blood flowing back to the brain, and maybe go out and talk to some of the vendors out there. Of course, we have Monte de Leon Cigars out front, who has a mobile cigar lounge, which is pretty amazing. And he's got a lot of great salsa music, so if you like salsa music, who knows. But anyway, you can go outside and enjoy it. It hasn't started raining yet, so thank God for that. So anyway, just we're going to take a 20-minute break, and everybody rest, and then we'll come back. Let's do a break. I'd just say 12:05. We'll start back up again, and then. Okay, well, my glasses aren't on, Dad, but thank you for pointing that out. So 11. Chad keeps telling me wear my glasses, and I never want to do it. I'm fighting that good fight, man. I'm not going to wear my glasses. But 11:05. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. All right, go ahead and take a break, and then we'll get back to the next speaker, Dan Fielding. Okay. Hey, if you can hear me, we're going to go ahead and take our seats. We're going to get started again. So if you are outside talking to some of the vendors, let's please go back to your seats so we can go ahead and get started again. Are we live? Okay, I was I was looking for you, man, to go, we're back. I was okay. All right, we're back. Okay, hey, we're back. I'm redundant. Okay, so good day. Thank you for coming back. I know a little break was probably helpful. A little more coffee for everybody. I live off coffee. It's amazing. So anyway, I wanted to say thank you again for being a part of this. All those who are here, and especially those who are watching online, thank you for coming back. This is a great event, and I'm hoping you're enjoying all this great information, especially for the first two speakers. Also, you know, I want to say thank you again for your support in this, just vastly so. I know this is a bit of a wild idea, but sometimes that's how great things start, wild ideas in the garage. So hopefully this helps inspire you and then also provide some information. So on to our next speaker. He wrote a book called The Asset Mindset. I've read that, and it was actually another funny story. I used to read it when I was on my treadmill as I tried to exercise, and I'm sending him messages to Dan, and I'm like, Dan, and of course, Dan has experienced what Chad has experienced, you know, like, dude, this is great, and then something else, and then something else, but, you know, I loved how Dan would always support, and he's like, bro, I'm so glad you love this book. And I did. It was great. Even if you're in the military or not in the military, you could definitely appreciate this book, The Asset Mindset, because the key of it is just, again, using our greatest asset, which is our mind. And a lot of times, again, one of the things in the military we learned is how to overcome a lot of obstacles or impossibilities. So this book is also great about that. Plus, again, on the civilian side or outside of the military side, it teaches you to understand to create a PACE plan, which he will discuss, and knowing how to create alternatives in business, because that's generally what happens all the time. You have an idea, it's a great idea, and then all of a sudden you get to a point and you're like, okay, this may have not been great. So now I got to figure out an alternative. What went wrong? How do we go through and then move forward? So let's go ahead to the next speaker, Mr. Dan Felding. Let's learn a little bit about Dan and his book. Dan, you can come on up. Thank you. Everybody, welcome Dan.
Thank you. Thank you for that intro. Well, it's great to be here. So I'm going to start off by saying great job, Chad. Everybody else that's here, all the successful people, you're going to see there's a lot of similarities by the way we think. That's kind of where I came up with the asset mindset. But I'm going to digress and go back here to about 1991. All right? I'm going to tell you a little story. And in this story is overcoming fear, all right? So it's 1991, I'm in a martial arts tournament, national tournament, my first ever national tournament. Of course, we're all lined up. What do you do when you're all lined up? You're looking at everybody left and right, okay, sizing each other up. Well, of course, there's a guy, you know, I'm 15, 16 years old. Well, we all kind of mature differently. There's a guy that's like, you know, 5, 6 inches taller than everybody else. We're all like, we don't want to fight him. I mean, he looked big, bad, and scary. So the guy next to me is like, yeah, I'm nervous. I don't want to get him. I'm like, yeah, me either. So we all turn our cards in, you know, this is who we are, and they're going to make the bracket to fight. Well, guess what? When they make the bracket, who's my first fight? Mr. Big Guy. I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, this is great. You know, here, my very first match, I might lose to this guy because he's so big and bad. You know, like, screw it. I don't even care. I don't care if I lose. I'm going to give it my best, and I'm going to show him what I'm made of. I came here to fight. Let's fight. So I took that and put fear aside, and I got the courage, and I'm like, I'm going all in. I did, and I ended up winning. You know, I remember one special move that just happened that I was trained. We talked about moment of motion. As soon as something happened, you get out there and pow! You know, so he was going to give me a roundhouse. I just went straight in, bam, caught him right in the chest, went down. I was like, wow, everything changed. I started to believe in myself. He started to doubt himself. So this is stuff that totally changes your success, is how you believe and how you think about yourself, your mindset, what you're doing. So with that, without any further ado, let's move forward a little. Here we go again. Sorry, I got a little ahead. So this talks about, you know, this mindset has helped me through my life become that national karate tournament champion. Oh, and I ended up, because I was so high and believed in myself, I ended up winning on forms too. So I walked away out of there like Mr. Badass. You know, I thought I was so cool. 6-foot-tall trophies, taller than me, because I was, you know, 16. I wasn't over 6 foot yet. But the mindset started there. I didn't know I was building the asset mindset at that point because, you know, I was a teenager. I already thought I kind of knew everything and whatnot, how that kind of works. But looking back, I'm like, wow, you know, I was learning a lot at that age. Then I took that mindset, became a Green Beret. I got a story here I'll share as well. We joke in my little circle about eating the worm. So for what that means, in my circle of friends and people that are close or people that have read my book, you can read it there too, is I'm joining the military after 9/11. I want to be a Green Beret, okay? First PT test beginning in processing, and there's a sergeant sizing everybody up, you know, before the PT test. Oh, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So he comes to me, and he's like, so what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm going to be a Green Beret. He goes, yeah, right, I doubt it. He's like, you know what? You're going to be a Green Beret. Why don't you eat that big night crawler on the ground? Because, you know, it's early morning PT test. The worms are all up on the ground. I'm like, roger that. Grab down there, snatch that worm up, put it in my mouth, chewing on it. He's like, his whole demeanor changed. His eyes got big. He's like, this guy's crazy, you know? And he's like, I wasn't serious about ordering you to, like, you know, eat that worm. You know, and I don't know if he was thinking he was going to get in trouble or something, but I'm like, well, I'm serious about being a Green Beret. And he was like, whoa, okay, you're crazy. You just might make it. And a little point here with this is if you ever eat a worm, grab it, squeeze the dirt out, and then eat it. Because otherwise, it's pretty crunchy and not very enjoyable. You can do it, but I'd advise against it. So, all right. Enough of that story. I'm glad you like that. Everybody likes it. So eat the worm in life, right? Now, after I get out of the military, I end up bumping into and meeting Kid Rock and working for him for years, working with celebrities and doing security, all based on this mindset. And I started seeing some themes. So without that, I will go further into some of the things that help create the mindset. I started off with the tournament. Well, I also have something that I did as far as the Dragon Warrior Code, all right? I did this when I was in the martial arts, and it was something that shaped my life and helped shape the mindset. It says, I am what I am because I choose to be. I'm a dragon by choice, and I'm subject to its loss. My family instructors and my classmates are my heart and my mind. Even though we may disagree with each other, we still strive to be one, forgetting all categories and letting energy which wishes to exist. As a dragon, I must go forth to seek the Tao in the void, understanding myself and finding peace within. So there's a lot to that. I don't have time to break it all down to you now today, but it's definitely broken down in my book at all levels. Because obviously your teammates, your peers, classmates, instructors, or mentors, you can really dig deep in this. So it was a great tool for me to be able to develop my mindset as a teenager and into an adult. Oh, don't worry, that's coming. I got it. It's a whole show. Thank you, Jeremy. He is definitely, you can see he loves my book. He's ready. Hey, tell him this one. Tell him that one. So, the asset mindset. what is it? It's a philosophy of understanding that we are each our own greatest asset, okay? We need to own the power that we have within us. We can do things if we set our mind to it. You know, you have a business or something you want to do, you know, you got to do that. You got to make it happen. Nobody's going to come to you and be like, hey, I have this business here. You got to have the drive and the discipline to get it. Now, one of the things I want to talk too about the asset mindset is, you know, in SF or Special Forces, our motto, De Oppresso Liber, you know, the literal meaning is to liberate from oppression, but we say to free the oppressed. Part of the asset mindset, or what it is a lot of people have negativity in their mind. And we have thoughts in our head and like, oh, so I'm taking that De Oppresso Liber and like, all right, let's liberate people from their negativity and their thought processes and the things that hinder them and hold them back in life. So that was another thing that helped create the asset mindset and help, you know, inspire the book and this concept. So you can see a lot of my slides are up there. I'm kind of, you know, not just reading off the slides because I like to keep it a little more genuine between me and the audience. So next slide. All right, so in transitioning or entrepreneurship, what you need to do and what you need to avoid, especially this is going to pertain mostly to the military and what I've seen, is people struggle in transitioning. Like when I got out, you know, I was like, all right, what do I do? Other people get out, Chad talked, like, all right, what am I going to do? What's my next mission? You know, when you're in the military, it's easy. Hey, I know what my mission is. I'm getting orders. You know, my commander's intent. Well, when you get out, guess what? You're now your own commander. You need to come up with your own mission and your own orders. So definitely be proactive and do that. Next is you have that loss of, you know, team support or camaraderie. You know, you have all these people. Like when you're in an ODA and you have your team, that's your family, man. They're all looking out for you. You're working together to achieve these goals. Well, now you're a civilian. You're out there and you don't really have your team as much anymore. So it's very important to have those there, you know, so you're going to have to build them again. You may have to start over. Yeah, you can take some of your teammates that you had on the team. They're going to be lifetime team assets. You know, I got a guy right now that, you know, he was brand new on my team years ago. He's still in. He's here now. You know, we're lifetime team member assets. You know, I call them asset mindset teammates. And you will have those. And that also stems, I'm going to go back to what Chad was saying with, hey, loyalty. You know, you have that team and you have those close people. They're going to lift you up, and you'll have that for the rest of your life. Also, I've seen, because I do contracting work now with the Department of Defense and training troops, people tend to kind of be bummed out. Like, you know, even the Rambo movie, it's like, when I was, you know, I was in charge of millions of dollars equipment. Now look at me now. You know, so people kind of like, man, I used to be this cool guy. I used to be a Green Beret, or, oh, I was a Navy SEAL, or, oh, I was this officer, or, oh, you know, they're looking back like their life's over, you know, when it's not. You just need to find a new mission and a new thing to do. So you need to take action and ownership of your life. Give yourself a mission. Very important to give yourself a mission. And have gratitude, okay? Part of this gratitude stuff, and this is Jeremy, this is your part, this is what you've been waiting for. He wants to hear about the story when I met Kid Rock and how that all happened. So I get out off active duty. The year before, I was in Afghanistan for my birthday. So I decided to go down to the Bahamas. Well, I go down to the Bahamas for my birthday, celebrating getting out off active duty, and just arrive. I hear this music on the side of the beach. I'm like, I'm going to find a place to hang out for my birthday. You know, I'm going to party, live it up. I'm in the Bahamas now. I'm a civilian. Woohoo! Well, as I walk down the beach, what do I see? Kid Rock in his cabana. I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool. He's hanging out on the beach. I'm like, you know what? He does a lot for the troops, a lot for the USO. He's a very giving guy. You know, he lifts the troops up immensely. I mean, he's been, I don't know, I think last time we talked is like 7 trips maybe or things he's done, you know, for the military and supporting the troops. I'm going to go up and say thank you for his USO tours and everything he does. So I walk up, I'm like, hey, excuse me, Rock, can I say thank you for all you do for the troops? He goes, oh, really? You in? I'm like, no, not really. I just got off active duty. I'm down here celebrating my birthday and whatnot. He's like, what? It's your birthday? And you just got off active duty? Let me buy you a drink. Well, have a drink. Next thing you know, he's like, hey, you got plans for dinner on your birthday? I'm like, no. He's like, why don't you come to dinner with me? I'm like, okay. So we're like starting to build this friendship. I kept trying to say, hey, thanks for all you do. He was saying thanks to me, you know, for all your service and what you did and sacrifice and going down range and signing up after 9/11. And like, so we're both like giving each other gratitude, and it's this relationship that's starting to go back and forth. So we go to dinner. After dinner, we go to the casino. After the casino, he's like, hey, you want to come back to my suite and have a couple more drinks? I'll show you some pictures and stuff. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. So long story short, sun starts coming up, and it's time for me to go back to my room. So he's walking me out of his suite, and I'm like, wow, man, thank you. Everybody, you know, says, ooh, I party like a rock star or whatever. I'm like, I actually got to party like a rock star. Thank you so much. And he smiled and he goes, do it again tomorrow? I'm like, do it again tomorrow? Oh, are you serious? He's like, yeah, I got that same cabana. Swing by, we'll do it all over again. That's what we did. Next day, did it all over again. The next day, we did it all over again. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is incredible. Well, the last day, that third day, you know, casinos, people partying, having a good time, people start saying things or whatnot. Somebody started saying something and causing trouble for Kid Rock. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to let this happen. You know, Green Beret just getting off active duty and been doing something. Like, you're not going to treat him like that. So I kind of took control of the situation, got him in the limo, moved out, no major issues. And what happens? He goes, that was pretty good. You got a job? I'm like, no, not yet. I just got off active duty. I'm looking. He goes, well, I might be getting in touch with you when I come back from Europe, and I think I have something for you. No kidding, he did. So for 2 years, that's what I did. I worked with Kid Rock doing security, and we're still friends. I mean, he was in my wedding when I renewed my vows with my wife. He was one of the groomsmen. Such a genuine guy. Like, and you can't make this stuff up, you know? So this is where I'm saying, like, having the right mindset and having gratitude will open things up for you. So you can do it, believe in it, live that way, and it'll change things. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the mindset method for success. All right, this acronyms, military, right? Love acronyms. Plus, it makes things easier to remember. So when you have the mindset method, we're going to go through every letter in mindset means something. So what are the first things you got to do? You got to have motivation and inspiration. Okay, begin figuring out your why. So when you want to do something, start a business, or you have a dream, or write a book, or you know, you want to do whatever it is you want to do, whatever your goals and dreams are, figure that why out. See what inspires you. You know, what do you love to do? You know, I mean, we can look at Black Rifle Coffee, Evan. You know what? He loved to make coffee. He did it all the time. He made it a business. Now he's making all kinds of money doing what he loves. So, you know, things can be done. I mean, there's people making money tasting food. Travel channel, you know, go around the world and eat things that they like to eat. So, like, you can do it. Figure out your why and what you want to do and what inspires you. What is your purpose? If you don't know your purpose, okay, which is hard for a lot of people, especially if you're transitioning or you're trying to start a business or you're getting out of the military, you know, what is my purpose now? My purpose was to be a Green Beret or to be this commander or whatever. Well, now you need to figure out what your next purpose is or what your next chapter in life is. Spend some time reflecting, all right? You need some of that alone time. Some people meditate. Some people like to go for a walk in the woods. You know, find that thing that you can be centered at and calm down and slow your mind, get away from all the craziness, and then figure it out. What makes you happy? What's calling you? I mean, listen to your gut. We all have instincts. We all have a gut. Follow it. You know, it's going to guide you. Next slide. So now we come down to I. You need to improve your habits and your environment. This is very key for getting ahead and achieving more success. I mean, we all have things we can do better. You know, you need to have good habits. You should be reading, you should be exercising, you should be eating healthy. We all know these things, but actually doing them, you know, is key. This is key. You have to do that. And your environment. Don't be hanging out with people that aren't good. You know what I mean? Like, if you're hanging out with people that all they want to do is play video games or hang out at the bar every weekend, guess what? That's what you're going to be doing. Birds of a feather flock together, as my grandmother used to say. You know, if you want to be a successful musician, well, you probably should be where people are playing music. You know, you need to find those environments where you need to be. And you always need to go where there's support. You need support around you, building your team. You know, Chad talked about loyalty. You know, you got to have good people around you. It's very important. Will this come into play later on? Next slide. So never stop learning and growing. This is, life is a process, okay? We don't just figure it out and be like, oh, hey, we're done. I got it. It's all figured out. Like, the struggle's real. It's constant. It's always going on. So you need to never stop learning, never stop growing. You need to read. You need to be finding something every day, like, what can I work on? What can I improve? It's very, very important. And you need to take advantage of your time. You only have so much time. You know, I use an analogy like, hey, our body is this vehicle we're given, and guess what? We get a gas tank in it, which is our time or our lifespan. We don't have a gauge, and we don't know how big the tank is. Is it a 20-gallon tank? Is it a 50-gallon tank? Whatever. So take advantage of your time. You need to do that. It's so crucial. And time is a powerful, powerful asset in the sense that, like, you can use it to your advantage. Like, if you write 1 page a day, in a year you'll have a 365-page book. I mean, it's not just a hindrance. Time can be your ally. You know, if you spend 20 minutes a day exercising and working out, well, guess what? Those 20 minutes are going to add up. You're going to get results. So have good habits that help you take advantage of the time that you do have. All right, now we're going to get into dreams and goals. You need to dream big. This is so, so crucial. If you're just going to settle, then you know what? I'm sorry, you're not really going to have the success. If you're doing what everybody else is doing, you're going to have what everybody else has. If you want to exceed, do you want to have big dreams come true for you? Then you need to get out there and make it happen. Dream big. We also talk about, like, you need to be excited about your dreams, and they need to scare you at the same time. Like, I'll even use this for an example a little bit. Hey, public speaking. You know what? I'm excited about talking about my book. I'm excited about, you know, helping people have a better attitude, personal development, you know, changing people's lives, helping them, which my book has done. But you know what? It's a little scary sometimes. You're up on stage. Oh, could I stumble? Could I have something go wrong? Could I freeze up? Or, you know what? But you need to do that. You want to make your dreams come true? They need to be big, they need to excite you, and they need to scare you. Otherwise, they're too small, and you need to go back to, hey, what do I really want to accomplish? What do I want to do? Now, you need to define your goals. This is kind of going back to purpose as well. Defining your goals is so key. You need to have them in, like, high definition. You don't want to be like, my goal is to be rich. Okay, who doesn't want to be rich? Well, I want to be rich. I want to have a house at this location. I want to have a boat. I want to, you know what? I want to have this size boat with this size engine. You know, I want this vehicle in this color. You need to start visualizing and making that stuff happen. That is part of living your life and your goals in HD. So you need to focus on your dreams that way. And now we're going to talk about PACE plan, which this is one of Jeremy's favorites he likes here, because in the military, we have a PACE. On a team, we always try to do a PACE plan. Okay, this is primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency. Because Chad talked about Murphy. Well, if you don't know about Murphy's Law, what will go wrong, can go wrong type deal. If you have a PACE plan, you can handle Murphy. If you don't, you're in trouble. You know, a prime example of this is, all right, say you want to apply and you want a degree. You're just going to apply for one college, one school. What if they don't accept you? Now what do you do? So you have to have alternates. You're going to apply to a bunch of different schools. You have your primary school, your alternate one you're going to apply, contingency, and emergency. Heck, even today, right now, I'm trying to practice my PACE plan. You know, I got all this great media around me. It's working. If this shot down, you know, computers fail, believe it or not, right? Like, they go wrong at the worst times. So I got my PACE plan. Here's my alternate. I got some cards and notes just in case. Now, I will keep them just in case the power goes out because, you know, Murphy, if I said it, it might happen. But that's the point of PACE. You need to have a plan for when things go wrong. And it's going to make your life so much easier because you can handle those problems. When Murphy pops up, you're like, oh, okay, I was doing this, but now I just look at my plan. My alternate was, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to this school. Or, oh, this is my contingency. So having those plans will help you when things go wrong, because things will go wrong in life. I hate to break it to you, they will. You know, I think we all know that, right? Like it's not always sunshine. Chad said that too, you know, rainbows, all that. It will rain, it will storm. There are going to be hurricanes, there are going to be tornadoes. Like your life's going to have stuff. There's going to be a car accident. Who knows what could happen? You know, so like you have to have pace plans in life. Next slide. All right, now we're coming to the S. We need to stay focused and disciplined. This one right here, I'm going to try and drive home a lot. This is so key. Discipline, all right? You have to have discipline if you want your goals or dreams or your business to succeed, all right? Motivation, I'm going to tell you right now, motivation's great. I love it. But you know what? Motivation is meaningless without discipline. You watch a movie. Man, that movie was, I'm all motivated. You know, I'm going to go out and do this or I'm going to do that. New Year's resolutions, prime example. You know what? I'm motivated. I'm going to get in better shape. You know what? You're not disciplined. You don't do it every day. You don't change your habits. You don't change your diet. You don't have that discipline. Discipline is the glue that holds everything together. You have to be working on stuff all the time. You have to have discipline in your life. You have to have discipline with your business. Things are not just going to happen. You need to keep working it and working it and working it. Don't get stumped, all right? When I say don't get stumped, you have to stay focused and disciplined to achieve things that others view are impossible. So I'm going to give another little story here that I know Jeremy likes as well. So I'm going to talk about doing something that people view as impossible. Now I'm going to go back to my childhood again, and this is another time where I didn't realize I was developing this mindset, or the asset mindset. But I'm 12 years old, cutting down trees with my dad. It's a big, huge pine tree, the biggest one we had in the yard. We're going to be putting in a swimming pool. That was the plan. So huge pine tree, about a 3-foot wide stump. His friend Jim comes over to, you know, after work on Friday to say hello, hang out, have a beer or whatever. And he looks over, my dad's name was Guy, he goes, Guy, that's one hell of a stump, and you're gonna have a hell of a time getting that out. And I'm like, 12-year-old kid, you know, I'm thinking I'm cool. That's nothing, I could dig that out by hand. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I could dig that out this weekend by myself. He goes, $100 says you can't. I'm like, oh, really? I'll take that bet. And I'm like, $100, I have a paper route, like I can pay for the bet, but you know what, that's like 2.5, 3 months of delivering papers, you know, like for a weekend, sign me up. And Jim looks at the stump, looks at me, and he goes, you know what, no power tools though, it's gotta be all hand tools. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it, I'll do the bet. And he's like, you know, I can't take money from a kid, Guy, your son's crazy right now. And he's like, no, take his bet. He needs to know words have meaning, you know. Do it. You can take his money, and I'll make sure he pays you if he doesn't. And I was like, no, I get the money, I get the money. So here we go. Bet's on, shake hands. He's like, all right, I'll be by Monday after work to pick up my $100. I'm all excited, 12 years old, full of adrenaline. Run over to the shed, grab tools, start digging. You know, I'm digging around the stump, hitting all the different roots. Doing all right, making some progress. Gets dark because it was later in the day. I'm like, all right, Saturday I'll do it. What happens? Oh, Murphy, what 12-year-old checks the weather? It's pouring rain out on Saturday. I'm like, well, I've worked in the rain before with my dad. I'll go out there and do it. So I'm out there, I'm working. What happens? Your hands get wet. Get all pruny. Working shovels and axes, start getting blisters. I'm bleeding, all this stuff. I'm like, but I'm going to do it, $100. That's like, how many miles do I get to ride on my bike and delivering papers, you know? I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So I work all through the day, all rain, everything, till it gets dark. Made good progress. I'm like, Sunday, I'll get this. Wake up Sunday, hey, sun came out. Good days, bad days, right? But my body is beat. I'm like, I'm going to do it, though. I've gone so far. So I get out there, I'm doing really well. I finally get all the way around it, nice down. I can't see any more roots. Push on it, it won't move. I'm like, what is this? What's going on? I look underneath, there's a taproot. I didn't know there was a taproot. For anybody who doesn't know what a taproot is, it's like a carrot. You know, carrot is a taproot vegetable. Well, this pine tree had a big root right underneath that went straight down, and I was like, are you kidding me? I sat on the edge, I'm like, what am I gonna do? You know, like, this is pretty much impossible. I can't swing an axe under there. I'm like, you know what? I've come too far, I'm not gonna quit. I'm just gonna keep driving on. I get that mindset again where I'm just gonna keep going, I don't care. So I run in the house, I get this little hatchet my dad used for firewood. I'm laying in the hole, going away, crawling around. Finally get that thing loose, push on it. Go inside, I tell my dad, Dad, the stump's loose, all excited. He goes, proud smile on his face. It's Sunday, and he's like, all right, let me go out and see it. So we go out, he sees it, he goes like, yeah, you got it loose. We pull it out of the hole. Next day, Jim shows up, Monday, expecting to get his money. Well, guess what? I ended up getting the money. He thought it was impossible, but my mindset, my work ethic, my discipline to keep going made it happen. So my point with this is you can do the same thing in life. Whatever your dreams are, your goals, other people may look at you and think, oh, you can't do that, or you can't start a business, you have no experience in this, you have no experience in that. You know what? You can do it. You just got to work hard. Yeah, you may bleed, you may get blisters, you may have problems. It may rain one day. You know, some days it'll be sunny. But you got to get out there and you got to make it happen. Because ultimately, you're your greatest asset. And your mindset helps you become your greatest asset. And this is the asset mindset. So, next slide. We're going to come down to empower yourself through your thoughts. So this is thinking. You need to, instead of like, man, I can't do this. This goes back to, you know, De Oppressor Libere, to liberate your mind from your negative thoughts and negative things. You do not want to be, I can't. You need to start having a how-to mentality. Like, oh, I can't do this. There's no, you know, application. Or, oh, I can't do this because of whatever. Get rid of I can't. It's how do I. When you're on a team, you get a mission or whatever, you're not like, oh, we can't do that mission. You know, it was like, all right, how do we do that mission? Or, hey, when things go wrong, you know what? You're in a mission, you know, something happens to the vehicle, it gets stuck, gets blown up, whatever. You know, you're like, oh, we can't do anything now. You know, this brings me to a story. We were doing a mission, and my buddy in the audience here, he was on this one, I believe. A GMV vehicle got stuck. And people were like, we can't get it out, we can't get it out, it's stuck, it's stuck. We were actually working with some, not to knock the regular Army, love them, God bless them especially, you know, all the stuff they go through, they do horrible things too. But these guys just didn't have the training and as much exposure as we did. And they were like, their solution was wait for someone else to come and sling load and pull the vehicle out. We were like, no, we can do this. We just need to figure out how. Set up security, we started grabbing shovels, different tools, whatever. Yeah, it took us a while, but we got it out by hand and we returned to base that night. We didn't have to wait for a helicopter to come in and sling load. So, you know, you need to be able to have that how do I? How do I? If you have I can't anywhere in your mind, you're dooming yourself from the beginning. You can't do that. All right, so that's the one thing you can't do is you can't have the I can't, you know, attitude. You have to have the how do I. So your thoughts are the creators of your future. So if you start thinking like Chad was talking about, I'm going to keep going back to you, Chad, because, you know, great minds think alike, and, you know, SF guys have pretty much the asset mindset. But you don't have to be SF to have an asset mindset. You can do it on your own. That's why I wrote my book, so people can learn about it. But going back to we are the creators of our thoughts and our dreams. He had a vision of his compound. That's where it started, in his thoughts. It created the steps and dreams and everything for him to pursue. So, you know, your thoughts really are more powerful than you realize. A lot of people are like, oh, yeah, you can just think about something. No, every great idea, everything, it all starts as a thought. So, you know, spend that time with yourself. Think. Get that mindset where I need to work on things, and I got to work on my thoughts and my process and what am I doing and my habits. All of this stuff is very, very important if you want to have success. Going also on to thoughts, I want to talk about page master. I talk about this in my book as well. You need to be a page master. And what I mean by that is you need to be able to transition your thoughts, have awareness, okay? You may be stuck. A lot of people get stuck. You're reading the same page. You know, the people with the victim mentality, you know, oh, I had a rough childhood. You know, my dad was an alcoholic, or, oh, he left me, or whatever it is, and people have this excuse, or they keep going over and over that same thing. Well, being a page master is turning that page, and you know what? It's still in your life. It's still part of your life. It's in your book, so to speak. But read a different page. Look at something positive, something good that happened. We all have good things that have happened. Just like you can't have everything good happen, you can't have everything bad happen. So there are good things. The old saying, you know, every cloud has its silver lining. An example of this for me, being a page master and how I use it in my life, okay, I got the phone call, my dad died. First hero, my mentor, helped me be the man I am. You know what? I was crushed. I was sad, tears coming out of my eyes and everything. But you know what? By the time I got off that phone call, I was smiling and laughing because I wasn't reading that page of just, ooh, my loss. I started having gratitude and thinking about the blessings like, I had this amazing father. He actually was there for me. We went fishing. We did stuff. You know, he helped me with football. He did this and that. So I had all these good thoughts coming in. That's what I mean by turning the page. Another example of this would be you get in a car accident. You can get out and be like, looking at your car and be all mad and be like, you know what, this is horrible, my car is wrecked. Or you can get out and be like, wow, you know what, I walked away from that. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna see my family. You know, I can have dinner with them. I'm gonna see my loved ones again. So how you look at things is very important. So learn to be a page master in your life and control your thoughts and have that awareness where you can turn your mind from one subject to another. It is a great, great technique for being able to pull yourself out of a funk. Because you know what? The struggle is real. Even myself, we all have those moments of weakness. You know, nobody's perfect. We're all human. So learn the techniques. You know, not just maybe the page master. If that doesn't work for you, find another technique or something where you can transition your mind to look at the more positive things in your life and the blessings you have. Because yes, there's obstacles. Yes, there's problems that come up. But we all have blessings. So focus on them, and you too will be a page master, and you will be developing the asset mindset within yourself. So next slide. Teammates and tribe. Another common theme. I keep going back to this. Talked about employees, Chad. You know, your team, people around you. Team, 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 family, your peers, your tribe. So key. You need to build them up. You get out, you may lose that, like we talked about earlier. You need to build a new one. Grow it. Find people that are gonna like lift you up. Your teammates, your mentors, the people around you, your tribe are so key. They're your assets, okay? So like the asset mindset isn't just about like, ooh, just me, I'm just an asset. No, I am my greatest asset. You're your greatest asset. You're your greatest asset. However, that doesn't mean there aren't other assets in life. There aren't other people that can mentor you, teach you. You know, there's lifelong team members that I call them asset mindset teammates for life, you know? They're gonna be with you. They're always gonna be there in the back of your mind or with you side by side as long as they can be to teach you things and help you. Find as many of those as you can. There are sometimes, you know, short-term teammates. Those are people like, hey, we're on a team, we needed a dog. You know, we'd get a dog handler and run that mission. Yeah, they weren't with us all the time, but for that mission, we needed the dog handler. So you can do that too. Like if you wanna learn to play the guitar, hey, find a teacher. Yeah, they might not be there the rest of your life, but they would have helped you for that mission to learn to play the guitar or whatever. So your team and your tribe are definitely important. You know, you're gonna have lifelong and temporary teammates, but definitely build them up. Next slide. Okay. You are who you associate with. I can't say it enough, you know, like they rub off on you. They lift you up, make you better, or they bring you down. I've already said it before, you know, birds of a feather flock together. If you're hanging with people that aren't making things happen, aren't doing stuff like this, taking life by the reins and being like, I'm gonna make stuff happen, I'm gonna do this business. They're not talking about their dreams and goals. They're whining and complaining. They're sitting at a bar being like, oh, I had to deal with this, or oh, my electric bill, or oh, my truck broke down, and they're always focused on that. Guess what? That's gonna rub off on you. You do not want to be with people like that. It's horrible to say, you know, but sometimes you gotta just pop smoke and cut people away, or, you know, you just gotta do it. Because they are the people that are gonna hold you back. And you start surrounding yourself with good people. I mean, that's what I found. I was like, oh my God, things happening. Things will just start happening. You're gonna attract other people that are doing positive things. You're gonna get in a circle where people are making the world different and better. That's what you wanna do if you wanna be a part of that. If you wanna have the asset mindset, you are going to build a team and people and a tribe that are gonna support you in your mission. You know, I mean, Green Berets, man, we all had that asset mindset, you know, thinking about, hey, the one hand, you know, to help, one hand to work, you know, like you're gonna lift people up, people are gonna lift you up. Like that's what you want when you build your team and your tribe. Constructive criticism is another thing. On a team, man, they'll tell you, you're messing up, they're gonna be like, what the hell are you doing there? Oh, you suck, you know that. You know. But don't be afraid to ask, you know? And have thick skin. When people are like helping you and giving you advice, you need to listen. Your teammates, your peers, your family, your tribe, they're gonna tell you things that are gonna help you. If they love you and care about you, their advice and their meaning, like, they're gonna carry the most weight. They want you to succeed when you have good people around you. So anything that you can learn from them through the criticism, take it. Have thick skin. Don't be upset about it. And nice team picture there. You're in it. You see yourself? Sorry, I had to give a shout out. Keeping it real, keeping it real. So, attitudes are contagious, okay? That positive mental attitude is so important. We've all been on a team or working in a group, and you have that person that complains. What does it do to everybody else? They start complaining or whining, and that spreads. It's contagious. Same thing with positive attitudes. So if you can get the asset mindset going for you, you're going to lift other people up, and you're going to make them feel more positive. You know, when you're in a situation like we were patrolling and it's all rain and wet, like you don't want to listen to that person be like, man, it's so cold. Oh, this sucks. What does it do? It just makes it more miserable. It doesn't make it better. You want the person, or you want to be the person on a team that's like, man, I'm telling jokes. So yeah, you're cold, but it takes your mind off of the suck. You know, you embrace the suck, deal with it, but you know, you're focused on other things. That's part of the mindset and way of thinking with the asset mindset. Next slide. All right, I love this one. This analogy is great. Okay, I want you to think of yourself like a raw piece of iron, an iron bar. All right, that iron bar, what's it worth? Like $5 on its own? Okay, no big deal. All right, fine. Now, if you make it into horseshoes, a blacksmith, you can get $12 for it, right? Well, if you mill it out and you make needles for doing, medical procedures, maybe you can make like $3,500. Or what if you take that same iron bar and you make, I don't know, say Rolex watch batteries, or not battery springs. You take that iron and you do something with it, the value increases. You're talking maybe $300,000 or more. So what's so important in this is your value is determined by what you do with yourself and how you create and make yourself. That's your value. How do you want to live your life? What do you want to do with it? So make yourself the most valuable thing that you can. Don't just be that raw piece of iron. Put the work in, and if you do that, your value and your life will improve immensely. Next slide. Okay, dreams don't come true on their own. You have to work for them. I think I've kind of beat that horse a little bit, but I like to say this part here because, a lot of people just think, oh, I want this to happen, I want that to happen. Even the easy way out, winning the lottery takes effort. You have to go to the store and buy a ticket and spend that money. That's the easiest way. You still have to put effort. So even that dream, you have to do something. No dream just happens. You have to make it happen. You need to put yourself in an environment that's going to make it happen. Ken Coleman, an author, I don't know if anybody's familiar with him. He's got the proximity principle. I talk about him a little bit in my book. You need to go where the action is. You want to be an actor? You know what? You probably need to go to LA or New York or where they're doing things. You don't want to be up in the mountains of Montana and be like, oh, I'm going to be an actor. You need to go where the action is. Make it happen. That's important. So you need to be humble too. This goes back to maybe the constructive criticism. But a smart person knows they don't know everything. Nobody can. Any one of us right now, we could start, I'm going to read everything in the world. We couldn't do it. There's not enough books. You couldn't search everything up on the internet. So understand that. You don't have to be that subject matter expert in everything. Find other people. Create those asset mindset teammates. Bring them into your circle. Be humble. Remember, you don't know everything. You can't do everything. You do that, it'll take that weight and burden off. The expectations that you have will be lifted okay, and you can feel more comfortable and move on. Listen to people that have walked the path before you. This is very important in communication as well. Okay, my dad taught me this one. If you listen to people that have done it before, it'll be much easier. And boy, I'm going back to you, Chad, a lot, but you talked about the struggles you went through, starting your business and whatnot. How much easier is it going to be for the next person or the person that walks in? It's like, hey, Chad, help me out. He talked about it, so find those people. Find those mentors and the people that can help you. So listen to people that have walked the path. They might be able to tell you the shortcuts. They might be able to tell you obstacles to avoid. Hey, don't do this. Don't go down that route because it's a dead end. You need to go this way. So definitely be listening to people. That's very important. Next slide. Okay. When you start having the asset mindset, people will take notice. Okay? People gravitate to each other, and the positivity will rub off. I talked about it a little bit. You can see, that's what happened with Kid Rock and I. I mentioned it earlier. you will find yourself in those circles. Opportunities will open up. You know what? Jeremy and I didn't know each other. Some of the other people here that I'm getting to meet and network, I didn't know them. They didn't know me. But I put myself out there, trying to do positive things, make the world a better place. They're trying to do that. Guess what? Now we're all connecting, and we're all starting to work together and becoming a team and growing that. So that's very important. Next slide. Okay. This is definitely one that I'd love to drive home as well, especially in this scenario and this setting when I'm talking as far as like businesses. I don't know how many times I've heard people say, oh, well, 9 out of 10 fail. Yeah, so that means you shouldn't try? 9 out of 10 fail? What if it's number 2 or number 3 that's your success? Or for a guy like me and some others in here and other people that have the asset mindset, you mean I only have to do something 10 times before I get a success? You know what I mean? Like 10 times, that's it. You know, so like when someone throws that, oh, 9 out of 10 times, you know what? They don't have the asset mindset. They're thinking I can't, not I can. You know, I hear that 9 out of 10, I'm like, sweet. You know what I mean? Like, I can do it. That right there tells you you can do it. So you can do it, all right? That's key. So take ownership of your life and your dreams with the asset mindset. Be a page master. Your focus matters. You know, create your next mission is very important as well. Figure out, that's part of the reason why you're here. You know, is you're working on your mission, you're creating your mission, and keep doing this type of stuff. This is very important. So with that, I'm going to say thank you for having me. Thank you, Jeremy. You know, it's great to do this network. It's great to be here. God bless everybody. And I look to see what you guys are able to create with your own asset mindset.
Chad, have a seat here, Dan, so we do a Q&A. Dan? Oh, sorry, it's okay. Have a seat, Chad. We're going to do a Q&A real quick. Thank you so much. I mean, wow, isn't that a great book? So he has the book out front here, or for those who are watching online, The Asset Mindset, obviously, it's on Amazon and Kindle, right? Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble, and of course, we're supporting Chad as well, and his products at Kraken Skulls. You can order from krakenskulls.com, which is awesome. So thank you so much for these speakers. So we're going to go ahead and open up the floor to this microphone for a Q&A. Does anybody have any questions for these gentlemen? Please feel free to go ahead and ask right here.
Hello?
Here, we can sit next to each other. We can spoon SF guys. We've spooned before, right? In the cold. There's another story on that in my book, too. You can read about some guys spooning, if you're into that.
So I've got questions for both of you. I'll start with Dan since he just went. So you hit talking about building your team. You know, one of the things that I find I struggle with is trying to find a balance in balance and prioritization of building my team and my network, as well as my time management. You know, Chad, you hit that earlier this morning, so I kind of want to hear from both of you and see, what do you do to find that right balance? How are you adjusting, and what are some ways that you prioritize those?
I would say, first off, allocate a time. You know, set a timer or do something like that for what you want to do and accomplish. You know, you got a budget, you got a plan. I love whiteboards. I'm sure you love whiteboards too. You know, it's kind of every team room. I don't care where you go. It's a Navy SEAL team room, any military room, whatever. There's whiteboards everywhere. Have a whiteboard. Do a schedule. You know, what works for you. Definitely do not burn yourself out because you're going to be less effective. You know, so manage your time. And then don't put your time into things that aren't giving back. Everything should be a two-way street. Okay? So like if you're putting all kinds of time into networking with one person or whatever, and they're not interested or they're not putting the time back, yeah, 1, 2, 3 times, okay, that's it. You know, like you got to move on. You know, go and where you are getting results. Don't waste your time on a dead end. I mean, I'm not saying give up if it's something you really want to do, but as far as networking and building with people, because the right people are going to gravitate to you. You know, and you're going to know almost immediately. Like Chad and I never met before. I know right now I can go to his place, have a beer, we could probably talk until, the sun came up tomorrow. But here, what do you got to say?
All right, so talk about building your team first. All right, so I know you brought that up. So, you know, it's always the cart before the horse concept when you're trying to establish your business. You know, we spoke out in the breezeway there about, you know, how do you build the right team to accomplish your goal that you're looking forward. I'm gonna take it back to the military mindset real quick, man, and I'm gonna say you gotta do some backwards planning. You have to find out your end state, and then I want you to back it off and identify your hard hurdles or your hard stop points where this has to be completed no later than this date. So it's a hard stake in the ground. So you're not adjusting your timeline to facilitate your end state, right? So we have your end state, cool. We know what your end goal is. Back it up, start doing some reverse planning on it, and then build your team according to your ability to manage your team. If you are creating something that you can't manage, you're wasting your time anyways. You know, you can have all these great items and ideas of grandeur, but honestly, if you can't manage them and manage your end state and your goals, you're gonna fail. You're gonna wear yourself out real quick. I will go against what he just said. Don't wear yourself out, bro. Wear yourself out. Do it. That way you can learn not to do it again. It's the truth,
I
you know?
get your point. Sometimes you need to learn them.
Oh, there's Bobby
I thought
coming
you had
in.
thick skin. Come on, thick skin, right?
Oh man, I love you, brother. So yeah, so I really say burn yourself out at least once or twice. That way you can identify where you're in, where you're gonna fail at. You'll identify really quick, like, oh, that sucked.
Yeah, and you won't do it again.
No, you'll do it once. You'll definitely do it once. All right.
All right, so you guys talked a little bit about partnerships, building those partnerships.
Sure.
Chad, you mentioned you had one comment this morning that kind of spoke to me. And what I'd like to know is, what do you do as a new business owner to protect yourself from some of those potential fallouts and partnerships that you create?
Oh man, that's a good one. All right, so the one thing we cannot control as humans is human dynamic. All right, you are gonna have people that may have your goals in mind, but they go about it a different way trying to reach that same goal. So you have to be a range master, man. You have to be that guy that says, hey, this is your left limit and this is your right limit. You know, if you're making what I'm doing, you know, be a little bit better than it was before I got it, that's awesome. But as soon as you go outside of that range fan, man, and you try to go about it a different way, and you could have negative effects on what I'm actually trying to reach. So it's really identifying a true, hey man, this is kind of the standard, you know, SOP. Once again, I really apologize for going back to the military and everything, but standard operating procedure. You truly need to identify what your SOP is, and anybody who's going to get in line with you to assist you in your mission, you need to communicate with that very, very clear and concise and upfront. And if you do have fallouts, man, like try to mend it together a little bit. You know, you could reach out to both parties or whatever the case is and say, hey, man, let's fix this. Hey, come on, let's fix this. And if they don't want to, they're not going to. So you have no control over human dynamic at all.
Yeah, I'd pretty much say the same thing. I mean, you don't want to waste your time. There's some people, you know, like my mom used to say, or still says, you know, you can knock on a deaf man's door all day. It doesn't mean he's going to hear you. If you have something that's, you know, falling apart, don't keep spending, you know, time trying to pursue it and chase it. Go to where, you know, you want efficiency. You know, like you want to go where you're getting the most results. You know, partnerships will fail. That will happen. That's why we talked about the PACE plan. You know, so if you're going into a partnership and that partnership is like key for your business, well, you better have an alternate plan because that could fall apart. So, you know, in the military, what, you got to get 3 bids, right, for any contract or thing we're doing, you know, like that's almost a PACE right there, you know, for you. So like any partnership that you're going into, you know, have a PACE plan behind it, you know, so that way if it does break down, your business and what you're doing isn't stuck at a standstill. You know, like if you only have one supply line and something happens, I mean, we saw what happened in the world with Suez Canal and, you know, like you don't want just one supply line or one partnership. You know, feed them the best you can, you know, water them like a plant. Hopefully they'll grow. But if they don't, you know what? You got another plant. You know, a farmer doesn't plant one tomato plant, you know. So that's about what I got for that answer.
Hey, with that being said, real quick, I just want to go on my own personal here and say I highly recommend you don't take on any partners, ever. Yeah. So, all right. So he's a lot smarter than I am. He has a way better vocabulary than I do. He's better looking than I am. I mean, he's just all around.
You got
way
a better beard, so you know. Hey, pros and cons. We all get that. Look at that, so soft. What product do you use?
That's Cracking Skulls.
Oh, it's cracking? Go figure.
Yeah. No, but seriously, I highly recommend attempting to avoid partnerships as far as the business aspect. As far as developing your brand, absolutely. But as for like creating your company, if you could do it alone, do it alone. And like I said, feel free to reach out to me. I can help you navigate some of the waters. I don't want any of your company. I can help you find the end state without going through the drama.
Can I add one more thing, just to be real quick? As far as, you know, you're talking about partnerships and doing things yourself, I self-publish my book, okay? If you look it up,